Oh, motherfucker, you can't have my cornbread. That's for damn sure. Because if you try to take my cornbread, part 2 of my killing spree gonna begin up in here on your ass right now. If you think about my cornbread, they get the taste out your mouth. That's for damn sure. Now, fuck him. Fuck that. Because I'm from New York City, goddammit. Nobody take no cornbread from me. That goes for you and any of you motherfucking farmers wanna try some shit. You fuck around with me, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
Haters gonna hate. And ain'ters gonna ain't.
What up, y'all? What's good? It's your boy Trey, Fraser, and Maestro Styles in the house, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, live on the website. That's www.barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. Make sure y'all follow us on our social media. We got the Facebook page. We got the Instagram going at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We're also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. And you can follow us on YouTube. So if you got an account on YouTube, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We're going to be on there live as well. I just want to emphasize this before we get into the show. Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. Rest in peace,
yes, sir.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Yes, sir.
Rest in peace, Jonathan Blake. And to all of our fallen black individuals who've been, brutally murdered by the hands of police, the system, and, whatnot. So just want to give them a shout out before we get, jumping with this show.
Yes, sir.
It's Trey Fraser here, Maestro Styles on the other side. What's good, man?
Ain't nothing, man. I'm ready for this rant, bruh.
Well, you ain't gonna get it
I'm
until
ready.
Towards the end of the show.
Get mad, nah, bruh.
What?
Nah, bruh.
That's not even.
I thought about you.
That's not even the news of the weekend, man.
It's kind of important to me. It's kind of important to me, man. It's kind of important to you, for that matter, man.
Of course it is. I don't have to start it off. I don't have to start off the show like that.
This time last week, we were talking about how happy you were with the fact that your boys was hanging a lot of points and those types of things. And then, and I clearly have not been paying attention to baseball because I just happened to turn on ESPN like Sunday night. And I don't hear the Yankees. I hear the Rays and the Indians. I think it is the Rays and Cleveland. It is right now.
You know it ain't no damn Indians in the playoffs, man. It's them cheating ass Astros, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. I'm hearing all this. I'm just not hearing Yankees. Is my point.
Sure, of course. And I saw your tweet the other day, and I just decided to just not be bothered with it. Because I was gonna say something, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna save it for the show. I'll just fall back, and you ain't
got Yankees gear in preparation of what you felt like was about to happen, man.
Yeah. I hate the fact you keep bringing this up, bro. I'm trying to get to some NFL stuff, bro.
All right, man. All right. I don't want you to. I don't. The anticipation is. I'm.
Listen. This isn't the only thing I'm gonna rant about tonight. There's a lot of stuff that I'm seeing, throughout sports that I got rants on. These ain't even my teams. I'm gonna rant about the Yankees. That's my team. But there's other teams that I gotta rant about, bruh, because they out here doing some foolishness right now. And just making themselves look bad.
That's I guess let's go to the top story.
Yeah, man. Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dak Prescott, man.
Get well.
Yeah, he had the surgery
Get well.
already. Matter of
Had
fact,
the
he had the
surgery. Was
surgery the
successful.
same night.
Mm-hmm.
Same night and everything.
The least they could do.
Yeah.
Considering they ain't give him his money.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I want to rant about, man. Jerry Jones, you done messed up with this one, man. This is why when brothers out here trying to get their money, particularly black quarterbacks, you lock these dudes up, get the deal done, and let's go. Like I don't care. You give Dak what he wanted, and you didn't give him what he wanted. And this is the exact thing that everybody, not just Cowboy fans, but everybody that's fans of Dak Prescott feared, is that this guy would get hurt, and that now all of a sudden everybody's talking about the contract. Everybody's talking about, are they going to put him on the tag again for next year? Is he going to be the same quarterback when he gets healthy? You know, all these conversations are going to start to arise, and they've been talking about it. And quite frankly, we should have never got to this point. We should have never got to this point to where he suffered that ankle injury and he's on a tag right now.
Yeah.
It should have never ever got to this point. I don't know what Jerry Jones is thinking, or maybe my conspiracy theory mind is thinking, yo, he just don't want a black quarterback representing the Cowboys. Black
quarterback's been representing the Cowboys for 4 years now.
Right.
The contract don't change that.
Of course, but it's one of these subliminal things, man. It's just like it just frustrates me seeing a guy who what else does he have to prove to you that he deserves a long-term deal? I mean, when you talk about durability, you talk about the numbers, and yeah, I get it. He hasn't been to the Super Bowl yet. I get it. He hasn't been.
And he's turned down the deal. And in no way am I siding with the Cowboys on this situation. But it's important to note that he did turn down a deal.
Sure, and that's his right.
Yeah.
That's his right.
100%. I just want to make sure that we paint the appropriate picture. He was offered a deal that was that wasn't to his liking, but based on market, was reasonable. Reasonable ain't the word I want to use. The word I want to use is that you could see any team in that situation offering him that deal, meaning a team that's in that situation that just got finished locking up a top 2, top 3, however you want to feel about Ezekiel Elliott, top 3 running back, signed, if I'm not mistaken, Jaden Smith before the offer, and if I'm not mistaken, and then signed Amari Cooper afterwards. But I think he signed Tyron Smith to an extension before Dak too, if I'm not mistaken.
Tyron Smith is hurt, right?
Well, yeah. I'm just saying.
I know you're not trying to go there. I was just asking the question.
My point is that they offered a deal. They offered a deal that was in the team's best interest money wise. Dak Prescott should have turned it down because that's not his. He wasn't cool with. With the contract, so he had his right to turn it down, and he was based on how the market rose right after. With Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, he should have turned it down.
Yeah, I agree.
So
100%.
Yeah, he should have turned it down because.
But really, Maestro, I don't mean to cut you off. Based on the deals that Jared Goff and Carson Wentz got, we got to go all the way back to when they got contracts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
he should have been getting paid more than both of those guys.
Both of those.
He should have been getting paid. Yeah, 100%.
But 100%. Particularly Carson Wentz because of the whole injury thing. And when you go and you sit at the negotiations table and you're trying to do comparables, it's, I'm healthy. I've been playing for 4 years. Never missed a game. And you got this dude with the Eagles who's missed time every year he's been there except his rookie year. and this guy got an extension. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah. And it's not Dak's problem.
It should have never got to this point.
Yeah, you're right. And let me stop caping. Let me stop trying to seem like I'm disagreeing with you. Dak Prescott asked for $40 million allegedly. He should have got $40 million, and we would be having a different discussion. Obviously, he coming to the table now, but then here's the situation. He's injured now, and now they have quote unquote leverage
is dropped on that side. Yep.
Yeah. So what happens now when your guesstimation? I'm gonna stick to my guess, and I said it in the summertime. I am about 70% on Dak not being a Dallas Cowboy within the next, if not this year, then the next year. They might be able to they might franchise him again next season, but I think after that, if they don't do something, he's going to be gone. I think I'm leaning more towards him being gone.
He's highly not going to be a Dallas Cowboy. If not next season, then definitely the season after that.
That's my prediction, and I hate to see that, but that's what it seems like.
But I do want to bring an interesting angle here. So we saw Andy Dalton come off the bench and basically, take him down the field, make the throws, and they won a game. They beat the Giants, the way they did. And
so I'm not.
And that was a wild game. So,
I'm not putting no stock in that.
I'm not either, but
Okay.
Hear me out, because who's going to put stock into Andy Dalton, and that's Jerry Jones. Especially if this Cowboy team all of a sudden now puts the focus more on Ezekiel Elliott running the ball a little bit more, Andy Dalton being sort of this game-managing quarterback, and, they get to 10 wins, they go 10-6, 11-5, they win the NFC East, which is a nightmarish division, and let's just say Andy Dalton somehow gets the Cowboys to the title game.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not reaching there
again. But we gotta reach, because again, somebody's gonna take stock into Andy Dalton being this quarterback, and that's gonna be Jerry Jones. And the reason Jerry Jones is gonna take stock into it is because he's looking for reasons to not give Dak the deal that he wants. So the reason for him would be, okay, look at this team. We've gotten this far for the first time in a long time. Well, what do I need Dak for? I'm just painting the picture of what Jerry Jones might be thinking if this Cowboy team somehow gets to that point and they do end up, winning 10, 11 games. They get to the playoffs. They make a playoff run. I could see Jerry Jones coming with that conclusion. I disagree with his assessment if that's the case, but I could see him doing that.
All right, yeah, sure, but what do we really see this team going record-wise this year with Dak out?
The way the defense is playing, we talked about the division. It's the worst in football. So 7 wins could easily win the NFC East right now. And it depends on how much stock Jerry Jones takes into, okay, what does this team do moving forward? Now, I brought up the running game. That running game, if they stick to Ezekiel Elliott a lot more, they rely on him a little bit more, maybe that helps out that defense. I'm not counting on it, but what if that defense is helped a little bit more because they're focusing on the run game offensive wise? All
right, let me bust it down. The Cowboys are 1-4, correct?
No, they're 2-3.
2-3. I'm sorry, because they just won yesterday. I'm sorry. And let's bust it down with Andy Dalton, because we know Dak is not coming back. With Andy Dalton at quarterback, week six against the Cardinals, I have the Cardinals in Dallas.
Okay.
Week 7, I think they'll beat the football team.
Mm-hmm.
Week 8 in Philadelphia, I'll give that to Philadelphia.
I was going to say, I do think when it's all said and done, and if we're just talking about the division opponents, I see them splitting with the Eagles. I see them sweeping the football team, and I see them sweeping the Giants.
I don't see them sweeping the Giants. I think they're splitting with the Giants and the Eagles. They'll sweep the football team.
Really?
Yep.
Giants?
Yep. Yep.
We disagree there, brother.
Sure. I mean, I'm just telling you how I feel.
What have you seen in the Giants that makes you think they're gonna split with the Cowboys?
What have you seen in the Cowboys that make you think they couldn't beat them without Dak Prescott?
But they did beat them. And they did beat them. And let's be clear about the Giants. Daniel Jones has 2 touchdown passes through 5 games. Their offense is terrible.
Yeah, I all I can tell you, because I get you. I think they're splitting.
The Giants might be the second worst team in football. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you.
The Cowboys will be splitting with the Giants. Where's my camera? They will be splitting with you. They will be splitting with the Giants and the Eagles this year.
And you're gonna be so dead wrong about that. But go ahead.
They're losing. They're in week 9. They're losing to Pittsburgh with Andy Dalton. They may lose to the Minnesota Vikings without Dak Prescott in Minnesota. They're losing to the Ravens. They'll beat Cincinnati. They'll probably. I don't know how I feel about San Francisco right now. I think Jimmy just might have had an off game.
Yeah, we don't know. What week is that when they play San Fran?
I just saw him. 15. So 15? Like you. Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll. We
don't know what San Fran's going to be by that point.
Yeah, maybe I said maybe Jimmy will be in a little bit. If Jimmy Garoppolo was in, at his, if he found his rhythm by week 15 and, what I'm saying, they're playing for something, I would have the 49ers beating them in that game. If he's any semblance of a, any less of a percentage, then great. Then I might give the nod to the Cowboys, but San Francisco still got to run a game. All that to say is that they don't win a division, they don't get in the playoffs. And could they make the playoffs in the Dallas Cowboys? Sure. I think right now, I think it's shift. I think with Dak out, it's shifted. Philly will get the division.
I think they're in the driver's seat right now. The Eagles, that is.
Yeah.
But the Eagles got problems too, man. That's the thing. Every team in this division got problems.
Sure. I think the Eagles are playing just a little bit better defense by a little bit, but by a little bit.
No, I think that defense had a bad game against Pittsburgh. That defense they're better than what they showed against the Steelers on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the gap between the Eagles defense and the Cowboys defense is this. It's that wide.
You think the Eagles defense is that much better than the Cowboys defense?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, I disagree, but
100%.
Okay, but and then here we are at quarterback. Here we are at this quarterback thing. Right. Carson Wentz by default is the best quarterback in the division.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not having a great year right now up to this point.
But by default, he's the better quarterback. Obviously we don't have faith in. I mean, unless Alex Smith is going to turn on, and congratulations to Alex Smith for coming back and taking some hits and getting up and those that type of thing.
By Aaron Donald, for
sure. He had Aaron Donald on his back. But he got up. For all intents and purposes, he seems to be healthy. So welcome back, Alex Smith. Unless he gets back to some semblance of the Alex Smith that got injured in that game 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. This is for the Eagles. Like you said, the Eagles to run away with it. I don't believe Andy Dalton. I just don't.
And let me be clear. I picked the Eagles to win this division before the season started.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
I just didn't see this kind of playing out the way it's played out. I mean, we're through 5 weeks, and when you look up and down the division, there's 4 total W's in the division right now. So I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting Dak to hurt his ankle. I wasn't expecting the Eagles to start off so sluggish the way they've been. I'm not surprised at how the Giants and the football team have been doing. I think they're right where I thought they would be. Maybe the Giants a little worse off than what I thought they'd be offensively. So, I mean, it doesn't matter really to me, who comes out on top, because I think whoever wins this division, they're going home in the first round. Like,
sure.
Immediately. Immediately. There's no threat to anybody else in the conference that's coming out of the NFC East. No threat whatsoever.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'm trying to think who might be there, but I tend to agree. I mean, if I think it's going to be the Packers, the Saints, or the Bucks, whoever, you could swap them out.
Seattle.
Seattle, right? You could swap. Yeah, it don't really matter.
And I don't love this team this year, but the Rams, they're 4-1. And when you look at the schedule they're playing the NFC East, and you get the wins where you get. So the Rams are going to be a player in all this too.
Right.
So based on when you're going down that Cowboys schedule, it sounds to me like you had about 6 wins for the Cowboys.
Yeah, about that.
That's like maybe not so definite. Maybe that San Francisco one is like a toss-up. You don't know what they're going to be. So 6.5. You're probably looking at that.
Yeah.
That might be enough, bro. I mean, I hate to.
They won't do it in 6. Nobody's going to get dead at 6 wins.
I hate to sound funny, but
yeah, and it's funny because you said this is not your first time saying this. You said this. You said this when we did the episode with Chibs. But it'll be 8 wins. It'll be 8 wins. It'll be 8 wins.
Yeah, I'm sure.
8 or 9, but I'm leaning
right
towards
now
8.
that they got to face, coming down the pike, might not be what they are now. So
yeah, I think it'll be 8 teams. Somebody will get to 8 wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question. So you and I agree. After next season, we don't see Dak Prescott as a Cowboy. We see him someplace else.
As early as this season, but as late as the season afterwards, 2022. I don't see Dak being a Cowboy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you on that. Hey, yo, I did say that the Giants had better put some points up on this Cowboys defense, and they did just that. Offensively, they put up 27 points. I know they had the pick 6 early in the game, so that's why they got the 34 points, the Giants, that is. But all that to say, I've come to the conclusion 100% that this Cowboys defense is just bad. It's just a bad defense. They're bad against bad offenses. They're bad against great offenses.
Yeah,
that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Not a good sign at all. I mean, the Giants were averaging almost 11, 12 points on offense per game going into this matchup. So that tells you everything you need to know. And I don't know how they're going to fix it. I think the only way they can minimize their deficiencies on defense is feed Zeke. That's the only way they can minimize it.
That's fine. I got him on my fantasy team.
What's that?
That's fine, because I got him on my fantasy team.
Because otherwise, what? You going to fire Mike Nolan in the middle of the season? Even though I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, they wouldn't. But they're not going to make no changes, though. Nothing crazy. Even if they did fire him.
Right. I mean, it's not. I mean, is it going to make the players play better? Is it going to? I mean, is the scheme going to change?
I mean, we've seen that work, though. We've seen where a coach comes in and shakes, gets fired, and then we've seen defenses get better, under that, like, oh shit, they fired coordinator, maybe, we've seen that happen before. I'm not necessarily going to go out there and be like, that's what's going to happen, but we've seen it happen before, so I don't want to make it seem like Dallas couldn't right the ship. I don't believe they are. At least not enough to where they're going to get a division over Philly without Dak now. But
right. Like even if they did fire Mike Nolan, like I still don't think that they're going to be able to play better on defense. I just don't believe that to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to not having Dak, I don't believe that. Their only hope is Zeke. Time of possession, kill the clock, rest the defense, and let's see what happens. That's the best formula for the Cowboys right now. We're
gonna see Andy Dalton trying to do his best John Tannehill impression from last year, essentially.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna have to make some throws.
Yeah, but against the Giants, he made those throws. Mm-hmm. So it's not so much about ability for me with Andy Dalton. It's more so the moment, right? So when those big games on the schedule come up, the Eagles game, important game, right? All the division opponents, important game, all those games out west, Cardinals, Niners, those are going to be important football games. Let's see if he's built for these kinds of moments at this stage of his career.
Right.
So
I'm gonna say no, though.
Yeah, I just got to see it to believe it. I'm with you.
I speculate. I would say no. He's not ready.
Let me say what up to the chat room here. So we got a couple ladies here in the house. We got Miss Mocha Bella repping the X Squad.
Yes, ma'am.
And we got Miss Thorny Switch up here. Miss Thorny, how you
doing?
It's been a minute, right?
What's happening?
It's been a while since she's been up here in the chat, man. Let me get to the Falcons, man. Because they had a couple of firings after their game.
Hold on, bro. I'm not hold on, but I feel like this is disrespectful, and we can get right back to NFL. I swear we can. But if we talking about top stories, we can't. Congratulations to the Lakers. I know you had a segment lined up for it, but I feel like it's disrespectful for us to leave out, to put that in the middle of the show, or the back end of the show. I feel like it's important right now to acknowledge the Lakers winning the championship, their 17th championship, and to LeBron James, the GOAT of right now. I think it's important to do that now and not wait for that.
Congrats to the Lakers. Congrats to the
For sure. I mean, we could dig in if you want to do a deep dive into it later, but
we'll dig a little deeper into that a little later.
But that needs to be said. That needs to be in the forefront. We got a black king out here that's doing all the right things. Legend in the game, MVP. I feel like we need
Fourth
to.
MVP.
You know what I'm saying?
Fourth
for
MVP.
certain. AD getting his first. I feel like
getting his first.
Yeah, while we at the top of the show, we talking about that needs to be said, and that needs to be said.
Rondo getting the second. Congrats to
him. And also, respect to the Heat and Jimmy Butler, because they weren't slouches. They did what the best they could do under the circumstances. The Lakers were just the better team, but yeah,
I hate when you do this, yo, because you segue into the NBA. You gave the Lakers props. Now you're giving the Heat props. Now we got to talk about. We got to kind of dive into this now. Now we got to dig deeper into.
The Jedi mind tricks. Look. We could talk about the Atlanta. We could talk about the Falcons. The Falcons, they are losing ass team. They're not even that important. They're not more important than LeBron James winning his fourth title.
All right, if you want to just,
I mean, but if you want to talk about Dan Quinn, I mean, I got plenty of little petty things to say about Dan Quinn, but we already know what's up with him. He trashes like his squad and his GM.
Sure.
So
I got a lot more to say than that about
that's
that,
not more important. That's in no way. And I get the whole. Let's focus on NFL. Do NBA. I get that. This is LeBron James. This is our modern day king. We gotta give him his flowers. I didn't feel right letting this go any further without him getting his flowers.
Break it down, brother.
Hey, no, I mean that's all it is. I mean, like I said, if you don't want to do a deep dive into the game, I mean, it ain't really.
No, I'm just saying we're already there. There.
No, I mean that's all I really had to say. Normally you the stats man. I just look. It ain't nothing changed with me. LeBron James is the greatest besides Jordan. He's number 2, but we need to acknowledge him as such. He is the greatest to do it in this time right now. Shouts out to him. I mean, damn near averaging a triple-double in the finals. Mm-hmm. What else you need? Like, what else you need, man? What else you need?
No, I don't need nothing, bro. Props to the Lakers, man. Props to, I don't know if it's my jealousy that's like taking over me right now.
Okay, I'm about to say I feel the energy, and I thought at first it was because I cut you off. But I feel the energy here.
No, it's not that. It's not that we kind of redirected what we were talking about. It's not even a fact that LeBron James is the greatest right now, because respect the king, respect his game. 35 years old and still doing what he's doing.
Still the best in the game.
Yeah, much props to that. It's not that. It's not Dwight getting his first ring. It's not any of that stuff. I'm happy for a couple of brothers on that team that, finally, was able to contribute to a championship team.
Quinn Cook.
Well, didn't Quinn Cook get one with the Warriors already?
Yeah, he did. And with the Raptors last year. I just wanted to point him out because he's from PG.
He was with the Raptors last year?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the energy I'm giving right now has got nothing to do with any of the players or the fact that, these guys individually were able to accomplish something big. It's the fact that it's the damn Lakers, man. Like they just they get everybody, man. Like you just go up and down their history, man, from Wilt to Jerry West, Kareem and Magic and Worthy, and then Kobe comes in, they get Shaq in free agency, and then they win titles, and then Kobe, gets Paul Gasol and Metta World Peace, and those guys win, back-to-back chips, and I'm jealous, man.
There was God, and yeah, I feel you.
I'm jealous, man. They get it's like the Lakers is like the easy destination for everybody, man. Like no matter what.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, man. Yeah, you just gotta recognize that, New York is they the Mecca. I mean, they always. I don't know if they'll always be the Mecca, but they're the Mecca. They the Mecca. But
don't take me there. Don't take me there.
All right. You don't want to go there. I respect that.
Don't.
I respect that, man. I mean, it's just it's just like but it's like you segue. I feel like you segue in to more New York drama, and I don't know if that's what you're trying to do, but I feel like you just now you just want to talk about how
I'm jealous because the Lakers have 17 championships, and my basketball team only has 2, and those 2 were almost 50 years ago.
I mean, same thing for the Warriors. Same thing for the Wizards. If you really want to go there.
And you
I mean, I know we ain't a big basketball.
I was gonna say you don't feel as.
Nah. We not the Mecca of basketball over here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Y'all love the football team a lot in DC for so many years.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we don't. I can't say that we necessarily have that type of thing that y'all have about basketball, but I mean, or baseball for that matter. We don't have that either. So I mean, these things hurt. These things hurt a little more for y'all in basketball and baseball.
Yeah, they do, man. They do, man. It's, and thank you, Thorny. She's in the chat room. Just a couple comments from her. She says, "Very honest of you, Trey. I feel the same way. Freaking Lakers, but hey, congrats to LeBron." Yeah, I feel that way. Congrats to LeBron, but it's the Lakers. They get everybody on the roster. They somehow stay relevant. No matter what decade it is. And
So do the Knicks.
Huh?
The Knicks somehow stay relevant.
Yeah, I'm not talking about just relevancy. I'm talking about winning a title, man.
Hey, man.
I was born in 1983, bro. I've yet to see this team bring the trophy home, man. At some point in my life, I would love to see the Knicks win the chip at some point.
Do you think you'll see it in your lifetime?
I hope that's not too much to ask.
Do you think you'll see it in your lifetime?
Right now, the way I'm feeling, no. I mean, hell, the Chicago Cubs went almost 100 and something years without a chip.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that the Knicks could go another 50 years without ever winning anything. It's very possible. But I guess I gotta have some hope, right? I gotta be hopeful.
Hey, man,
somewhere.
you ain't gotta have hope if you don't want to, man.
I'm watching all these other sports teams winning chips and stuff, and here go the Knicks, still stumbling and bumbling, man.
What's the last team to win a championship sports wise? Didn't the Islanders just win? No, the Islanders didn't win. They just beat us.
The Lightning won the chip.
Lightning. Got you.
Yep.
So it was the Mets. The Mets the last time.
You said last year?
No. When was the last championship a New York sports team won?
Oh, you want to go down that rabbit hole?
No, the Mets was in. They didn't win, wasn't it?
The Mets was in the World Series in 2015,
right?
And they lost in 4 to the Royals.
And
then the year before that, the Rangers was in the Stanley Cup final, and they lost to the Kings in 5. So yeah, they had a couple of close. New York had a couple of close calls, couldn't get it done. But if you're looking for the last New York title, it was the Giants in 2011, 2012. And that's about to be almost 9 years ago now. And I tell you a little bit of history, Maestro. I know you're not fond of history as much, but I think
not fond of sports history.
This might be the longest drought in New York sports, at least that I've seen in my lifetime. Because
where nobody won nothing.
Where none of the area teams have won anything. I just remember the 90s Yankees. They won 4 titles. I remember the Rangers winning the Cup in 94. I remember the Mets in 2000. They didn't win the title. They lost to the Yankees in 2000. But then you had the Giants Super Bowls in the late 80s. And, the early 90s, they got that one. And then you had the Giants run, just a few years ago with a couple of Super Bowls. And plus the Yankees chip in 2009. So when I think back, I'm like, yo, this is the longest that New York has been without a championship. And there's 9 teams in this area.
Hey, man.
That's just crazy, man. There's really, and I'm talking to the New Yorker right now. Like there's really like no hope. Like when it comes to the football teams, 0-10 right now. You really got no hope there. When Kyrie and KD come back, I guess there'll be some hope there. If you're a Brooklyn Nets fan, they'll be the favorite to win the Eastern Conference. I think you and I talked about that, so there's some hope there. And then, bro, I guess I'll talk about the Yankees, man, since we on this topic, bro. When in doubt, bro, you can always count on the Yankees. But man, and you said it at the top of the show, bro. I done bought all these masks and stuff. I done bought these Yankee masks. I didn't even cop the. I even copped the shirt. You know, respect New York. Respect New York. Well, the Yankees didn't respect New York, man. That was just embarrassing, man. That was just like an embarrassing performance, man. We had our ace on the mound in Game 5, and my man's was dealing. He was getting strikeout after strikeout, and it was a tight ball game. It was a 1-1, ball game in the 8th, and Chapman comes in, and he's working a count with this cat from Tampa, and he gives up the solo shot, and that was it. That's how the series ended, and that was the season for the Yankees right there, man. That was it, bro.
Man, can I play Shrink, man?
You got the floor, bro.
Nah. This ain't for me. This is for you, man. I want you to tell me how that makes you feel, man. I mean, how did you feel? Because let's be clear about something, man. This time, I guess this time last year, around this time last year, or maybe a little earlier, September, I remember the time where we were talking about, man, the Nationals and the Yankees and all that. And, it would be crazy if they go to the World Series together and how much content we would have and this, that, and the third. And then, Nationals won. Shout out to the Nationals in 2019. We get to 2020, and, the Nationals are trash, but I ain't tripping because we fresh off a ring, so I ain't tripping. But, the Yankees wheeled and dealed and tooled up and, put together a nice little roster. And, I'm hearing Yankees fans, not only yourself, but Yankees fans, and they happy and they excited. And I asked you, I said, Trey, is it championship or bust? And you said with an emphatic mannerism about yourself that, yes, this is championship or bust. And here we are, October the 13th, 2020. And the conversation in baseball is not the New York Yankees. Instead, it's the Astros of all teams.
It's the cheating ass Astros.
I mean,
man, dudes, man.
How is it? And we spoke about this last week briefly, man. How is this shit for retrospect, man? It's like the team that cheated, got caught cheating, got persecuted. Fans hate them, and teams is coaches is getting fired even after they left the Astros, and Astros players are getting baseball thrown at them for their devious ways. And here these cats are in the playoffs, the ones that pretty much kept y'all out of the playoffs.
In the AL freaking CS, bro. Like one series away from another World Series appearance,
and we don't even know if they still cheating in that.
Well, one thing for certain, they were terrible this year, but they just happened to make the playoffs because the American League wasn't all that great. And here they go. They beat the Twins, and then they beat the A's, and here they are against. And I'm gonna give Tampa their respect in this regard because they did beat the Astros twice already in the series, so the Rays are up 2-0 in this series. And I did say to myself, if somehow the Rays got the Astros up out of there, I will root for the Rays to win the whole thing. Unless it's against the Braves, if the Braves come out on the other side, because I'm at the point now where it's like, you know what, Atlanta deserves something. You know what I'm saying? After blowing a 28-3, lead in the Super Bowl a few years ago, the ATL deserves something, man. The Braves right now, they looking really good. They won, they up 1-0 in the series against the Dodgers. ATL ho. That's where I'm at with it right now. But man, you're right. It was championship or bust for the Yankees, and I don't care about the injuries. I don't care about the pitching woes, and I don't care about any of that. This was a season unprecedented like any other. They chopped off 2/3 of the season, so it became 60 games, and that was enough. That should have been enough for us to at least be a top 2 seed in that whole 1 through 8. And look, Tampa again. I give them all the credit. They played. They got the 40 wins. They earned that top seed in the American League. But man, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. The only dude I will give any I will shoot bail with this guy. Giancarlo Stanton actually showed up in the postseason for a change. I think he had like 5 home runs in like 6 games in the playoffs, and that was enough. I mean, from him, that was enough.
Yeah.
But the rest of the lineup, like Judge wasn't himself. Luke Voigt wasn't himself. LeMahieu wasn't himself. We just didn't come through when we needed to come through. And I mentioned all the runs that we were scoring against the who did we play in that first round? We was averaging 10 runs per game in that series, like easy. And we get to this series against the Rays, and I mean we put 10 on them in that first game, and that second game, bruh, I don't know what was going on with that game. That might have been a turning point in the series where they took our starter out in the first inning and started playing this bullpen against the Rays, and I'm like, wait, y'all playing a bullpen game against the team that is one of the best at the bullpen game? Y'all really like playing scared right now? Like, come on, man. Like, we got some legit starters. Like, we don't need to pull dudes in the first inning. I feel like that game 2 kind of turned everything. Like, it changed the complexion of how the series went the rest of the way. Because if we'd have just played our game, got our at-bats, got our runs, even if we'd have put up like 5 runs in game 2, 5-6 runs in game 2, we would have been up 2-0, and all the pressure would have been on Tampa to try to get one more. And all we would have needed is one more at that point. But it didn't turn out that way, man. It's frustrating, bro. It's disappointing. I said this was a World Series season or bust. I didn't care about the season being cut short. I didn't care if niggas wanted to put an asterisk on the championship this year.
Which nobody should have done.
Well, I think they should do it. I'm just saying I don't give a damn. I'm going to celebrate it if my team wins it. It's frustrating, man. It's disappointing. Disappointing, man. ATL ho, man. That's where I'm at, man. Atlanta need one, man. They need one, bro.
Because it's definitely looking like they're not about to get it in football no time soon.
Nope. They're definitely not.
I think we could.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. I was about to segue into the Falcons. They got rid of not just Dan Quinn, but they got rid of Dimitroff, the GM also.
Yep.
So I had this interesting conversation. It was a brief conversation with shout out to ABM, Doc Bell, from Posting in the Paint, and he was talking about the Falcons not being an attractive job for next year, and I don't know if he was speaking on in the context of where, because we also talked about Eric Bieniemy and what we thought was the best situation for Eric Bieniemy if he decides he wants to take a job next year. He brought up the Texans, and I said, you know what? If you had to compare the Texans situation and the Falcons situation, if I'm Eric Bieniemy, I would choose the Texans situation because we know who the quarterback is, and we know the quarterback is going to be there for the foreseeable future. With the Falcons, you don't know, what's going to happen as far as the quarterback situation is concerned.
Interesting.
But he did also say that the Falcons wasn't a good job to coming up next year. And I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know about that. Like,
I was going to say, tell me why. Is it a bad? Do you feel like it's a bad job or just not the best job?
it may not be the best job, but I don't think it's a bad job, right? I don't think this is this is not the Jets situation, right? Because I think
Right.
the Jets situation is a terrible situation. Like if Adam Gase got fired today, like I would
Then
tell
Woody
any,
Johnson should.
right. I would tell any potential black head coach out there, do not go to New York to coach that team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that way about the Falcons, and here's why. When you go back on how the Matt Ryan era got started, right? So the Falcons, they went through that whole year with the whole Vic situation, with the dogfighting and all that. They had that win down year. Mike Petrino, I think his name is the dude that
Bobby
what did I say?
Petrino.
Bobby Petrino.
Mike.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Petrino. You know, he quit in the middle of the season. Didn't even
Yeah.
tell the players that he was quitting, and that whole thing was just a mess that one year. So here comes the offseason 2008. They hire Mike Smith. They hire Dimitroff as the GM, and they draft Matt Ryan. And those first 5 years in Atlanta, they made the playoffs for those 5 years. Like that regime started off on a hot foot.
Yeah.
So when I look at the fact that not only did Arthur Blank get rid of Dan Quinn, but he also got rid of the GM, that tells me that he's thinking, okay, I want to get my GM first. I want to allow my GM to pick his coach, and then I'm going to allow these guys to go ahead and choose the quarterback of the future. Because let's face it, and I looked at Matt Ryan's contract situation. So he signed for the next, including this season, he signed for 4 more years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
Next year, I think the cap hit would be too much for them if they decided to part ways with him this offseason. But let them play out the 2021 season, and now you're looking at a situation where the cap is not as, the hit won't be as terrible as it would be if they got rid of him now or after the season.
After the season, okay.
So you could part ways. You could let Matt Ryan play 1 more year under the new regime. They would have drafted their quarterback if they, decide to go that route. They would let that quarterback sit for 1 year. And then after the 2021 season, you can make that transition to the new quarterback and kind of get your regime fully started from that point on. I don't think it's a bad situation with the Falcons. Like if Eric Bieniemy, somehow ended up with that job, I don't think it would be a terrible thing for them, because I think Arthur Blank has sort of put the franchise in a situation where, okay, you got guys coming in at the top that are going to work together and be on the same page and know what they want. Kind of similar to when they got Mike Smith and Dimitroff back in 2008. So I think the Falcons will be, I think they'll be fine. They got to figure out, the rest of the roster, obviously. And I don't know what Julio Jones' contract situation is either, but, they got Calvin Ridley, who I think is a stud receiver. So I think they'll be good there. But I think the Falcons will be fine moving forward. I think Arthur Blank did what he had to do. I think he made the right decision in parting with the coach and the GM, just so you could start fresh from the top. I'm get your thought about that.
I'm not. Well, as far as the regime change, it just seemed like maybe it was time. I don't know that Dan Quinn has ever recovered from that Super Bowl.
He hasn't.
I am normally not with firing coaches during season, and I'm like, you might as well just let them finish it off. In this case, however, I don't care. They didn't fire a black coach, so and not for nothing, Raheem Morris is the interim coach. So
right, in addition to that, you got to look at the way they lost to the Cowboys, bruh. I mean, and the losses, they start to mount, and you get to a point to where it's like, all right, we just can't do it no more. We just can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, that's one way to go about it, but I think that's under the assumption that Dan Quinn is going to. I mean, that Raheem Morris is going to get this team to 10-6. You know, 9-7 after this firing, which I don't believe. I mean, I think the Falcons are destined for an 8-8 season, whether Dan Quinn stayed or Raheem Morris.
Right.
Got them playing some better football. I don't think, I know Raheem Morris has coached, I don't, nothing to phone home about in his experience. So
yeah, he was with the Buccaneers, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, all that to say, good riddance, Dan Quinn and Dimitrov, whoever your name is. Good riddance. Look, Dan Quinn was a good defensive coordinator in Seattle.
Yeah.
Let's get him back doing what he wanted, doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
Let's get him back to where he need to be at.
I know who could use Dan Quinn on the defensive side of the ball.
Who that?
You know who. We just talked about him at the top of the show.
Who? Oh, the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that ain't gonna happen till the end. That ain't gonna happen till next year, no way.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're not gonna pick him up in the middle of the season. But if that's the route that they want to go,
and if I'm not mistaken, don't he run 4-3? Dan Quinn?
Dan Quinn, I believe, runs a 4-3. I believe he does.
I just happened to glance up and
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Henry. Yeah. I just saw he just gave Josh Norman the crucial stiff arm right there.
Oh, Lord.
Yo, this is I gotta mention this. Yo, this is history right here, right? So we've been doing this podcast for like over 5 years now.
Oh, 5 years,
every Tuesday night, and this is the first time that we're doing this podcast recording and there's an NFL game on at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time, yeah.
Yeah, like how about that? Like we've watched basketball games while doing this podcast. We've watched other things, but never a football game up until now.
Random question. How do you feel that, not random, really kind of ties in. How do you feel about the doing a playoff bubble, this NFL playoffs?
So I did see something on Twitter. They're talking about LA and Dallas as being two possible bubbles for the postseason. Well, here's the thing, right? I'm glad you brought this up, because me and Debbie actually had a conversation about, bubbles as far as, football is concerned. And I think she brought up an interesting point, right? So you remember how when the NBA came back, they invited the playoff teams, and then they invited teams that were in the hunt for playoff spots. And there were about 8 teams that, sat home. I was like, you know what? And she said this. She said, you know what? They need to get to a point in the season where you invite the teams that are playoff bound. You invite the teams that are in the hunt, that are like maybe 7-4, 8-5, in that range. And then all those teams that got 1 or 2 wins, or 4 wins, hey, just stop your schedule. You're not going to play the rest of your season. You suck. You're not invited. Get the hell on out. And I was like, yo, that is a great idea. I mean, and I'm just talking about the format. So like the threshold being at like 7. If it happens at week 13 or week 14, 7-6, everybody 7-6 and better go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I kind of like that idea as far as the format goes. As far as the bubble though, I don't know, man. Like, I guess my concern is so you're gonna have 3 games per conference in the first round, right? So you're gonna have 6 games total, wild card weekend. Are you're gonna have 3 games on the same field? Is that even possible? Like back to back to back?
Yeah, that's the only way it would have to be. It's not like they play at the same times anyway.
Right. No, I get that part. And forgive me if I'm not being clear about something, but I brought this up a few months ago when the NBA was kind of doing their bubble, and I was saying that it's so much easier to maintain a basketball floor. All you got to do is just wipe the floor. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. With a football field, and really in particularly baseball, you got to seed and straw. You got to, you got to do all kinds of stuff to the turf and all that stuff. I'm just asking the question because I don't know how much maintenance there really is in regards to a football field enough that you could have 3 games back to back to back.
Maybe it's not back to back. Maybe it's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Because if it's 3 games per per stadium, one Friday night. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Saturday night, whoop, whoop, whoop. Sunday night, something like that.
Good point.
I'll say this. That, and by the way, that's a genius idea. If we set it at week, say 14, set the threshold at 7 and 6, everybody, we'll take a 2-week break to quarantine, get everybody tested, whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah. And everybody that's 7 and 6 or better is invited.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah, credit the wifey for that idea, bro.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. Shout out to wifey.
Yeah. I would like something like that. But I think that's a good idea with as far as having a Friday game, Saturday, and a Sunday game. That may be the best way to go about it. And you wouldn't have to worry about it moving forward because you'll only have 4 games, 2 games per place, but there'll be a Saturday and a Sunday.
Yeah.
So okay. Yeah, I kind of like that idea.
I mean, hell, if they decided to do Monday Night Football in the playoffs,
right.
Hell, even that.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. Now, I tell you what's going to be a big difference. They're going to have to book a lot of hotel rooms.
A lot more hotel rooms. That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
We ain't talking
that is a fact.
A basketball team. We talking a
53-man roster.
Plus the staff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
right.
They're going to have to book a lot. And I guess with the idea of picking Dallas and LA, which are 2 big cities, it only makes sense that it's those 2 places.
Right.
Because with both places, especially the Los Angeles place, the new stadium, you can put a roof over that.
Right.
So
much like in Texas. So.
Yep. You can put a roof over it. So.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be against that.
Yeah, I can't say I would be against it. I can't say that I would be either.
Yeah. Hey, I want to say what up to a few guys here in the chat room. We got Jay Ron in the chat room. We also got Big Kev 303 up here in the chat.
Yes, sir.
And I thought I saw somebody else. Oh, Jordan Rosario from Keeping It 100, man.
What's good, player?
Appreciate it. Hey, I wanted to get back to just a couple of these games that I saw over the weekend. We might have the upset of the year, bruh. The Raiders and the Chiefs. And I caught the ending of that game. That had to be a great game to watch, bruh. I mean, I was keeping track of it on the ticker. It was like back and forth a little bit, and then I saw the Raiders was up by like 10 points, and I was like, whoa, like in the fourth quarter. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, some way, somehow, that dude, Patty Mahomes, was going to tie the game up. That was in my mind, like the whole rest of the fourth quarter. Like, he's going to tie this game up. He's going to find a way. But give credit to the Raiders, man. They played a good game.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the only thing I'll say, I can say in reference is basically, look, I mean, the Chiefs wasn't going 16-0.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? They had to lose a game or 2. Look, I guess if I had to, and we didn't predict records at the beginning of the year, but if I had to make. I mean, yeah, I can see them losing 3 games this year. I can see them losing their Chargers. I know they beat the Chargers earlier
close
this
game.
year, but it
Yep.
was close. I see them losing one to the Chargers, and I don't know the rest of their schedule, but throw another loss in there somewhere for a 13-3 record, or 14-2 for that matter, and it would just be what it is. Good game by the Raiders, obviously, for putting off an upset, but it's not like we expect nothing from the Vegas Raiders. I will say in response that they are doing a lot better in Vegas as a football team than they were doing, last year around this time. They look, when you watch them on TV, they look like a basketball team.
Yes, yeah. I was gonna say that because I watched them against the Saints on Monday night a few weeks ago, and they looked really good. And I know the Saints were kind of compromised with not having Michael Thomas in the lineup, but when you look at them and you watch them play, running game on point, offensive line on point, Derek Carr, not a lot of turnovers, doing his thing. Yeah, like I like a lot about the Raiders. Their defense could use some work.
Of course.
But I think their game plan is we gonna run the ball, and when we get to a certain point in the game where we wear you down, we just gonna keep pounding a rock, and we gonna bleed the clock out. I think that's been their formula up to this point.
Yeah. I just, we spent so much of our time ragging on John Gruden amongst the Khalil Mack situation and all that. I think it's important to say that they, I'm not saying he off the hook, but they definitely look a lot better than they have, especially after giving away such a fucking beast of a pass rusher and Khalil Mack. They as a team. They do look a lot better this year. I still don't have no expectations for them, but they look better.
They look better, and I don't know if they're going to get a playoff spot or not.
I'll say no.
That they would. I predicted that they wouldn't, but
the
way they're playing right now, up to this point, looks good so far. We just going to have to see how they do, moving forward. They'll have a game like they did against the Patriots, I think it was, a couple weeks ago. They'll have games like that where you're just like, yeah, they just not, ready for the moment, right? And then they'll have games like they did against Kansas City or against the Saints. And they'll wow you in certain parts. Let me read a comment here from Jay Ron in the chat. He said the 72-yard run changed the game. I think he's mentioning the touchdown pass to Ruggs. I think his name is the wide receiver.
The rookie, yeah.
Yeah, the rookie, yeah. That was a 72-yard bomb that he threw to Ruggs there. Good play, by the way. So yeah, I don't know if it changed the game, but that was
I don't pretend like I watched the entire game, snap by snap. Right. Like I said, my opinion on the Raiders has just been sample size highlights from weeks, from week now. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know exactly what they're doing and how they're going about it. I could just look at what they've been doing, and you see that they're better than they were last year. They're a better football team this year than they were last year. John Gruden deserves respect, deserves flowers for that at least. And and like I said,
too. And
Carr too, man. For sure.
I think I talked about this last year when we were kind of dissecting like the AFC West and what it was going to be like for the foreseeable future, because you got Patrick Mahomes, who's already like a Hall of Famer at this point, and you're going to have to see that dude twice a year. What's up?
I hate when you say he's a Hall of Famer already.
He's a Hall of Famer already, bro.
I'm not saying.
On the kid?
I'm not saying. I'm not calling no dude who's been in the league for 3 years a Hall of Famer, bro. I'm just not doing it. I get that his stats. I get what his stats suggest. All that. No way I'm calling no dude after 3 years a Hall of Famer.
All right. So in this case, I'll do it. He's a walking Hall of Famer right now. So you got to go up against this dude twice. And there's questions about whether the Raiders are going to keep you or whether they're going to trade you or what. And I said it. Derek Carr, at some point, he's going to have these games against Kansas City because that's who you're competing for the top spot against. Mm-hmm. And if you're not the dude to do that, then, yeah, they're going to get you up out of there. Derek Carr, I thought, took the first step to at least, hold that spot for the foreseeable future. He took a step. I'm not saying, he's going to be a Raider the rest of his career. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that, okay, you've proven to me that, you can put your big pants on against the defending Super Bowl champions, go out there, perform, and get your team a W, and, we'll see how that goes, moving forward. He took one step towards that, I thought.
Justin Herbert. How you feel about him after 2 weeks?
When you watch him play, the arm strength on point, the accuracy on point. I think he's doing what he's being asked to do, and a little bit beyond that. I just think that you playing for an organization that is on this crazy run of one score losses, right? Mm-hmm. That's the stat that's out there with the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
So I'm watching this game last night, and yeah, they were up by They were up 20-3 at one point, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Saints were kind of sloppy in that first half. Mm-hmm. They got it going in the second half with Breeze and company, and I gotta tell you, the Taysom Hill stuff, they gotta cut that out with the Taysom Hill. Keep bringing them in every 8-9 plays, man. They really gotta cut that out with that. But the Saints they tied it up. That last drive before overtime, that last drive where the Chargers were gonna win it there. He made that throw to Mike Williams, and Mike Williams got up and grabbed that joint. I was like, whoa, this dude Herbert, okay, and I feel bad for Tyrod Taylor. I just want to say that too. With respect to Tyrod.
He's not getting his job back though.
Unfortunately, he's not. But that
pending
throw to Mike Williams, that was a thing of beauty. But I sat there thinking, I'm like, yo, the Chargers have had so much bad luck with kickers that it wouldn't shock me if he missed this one. Even indoors, it wouldn't shock me if he missed this one. And sure enough, he missed it. They go to overtime, and the Saints, they pull a rabbit out of their hat.
I've just been doing that check since we had that conversation about your Tyrod Taylor theory. That's how I just always like to check in with you on Justin Herbert.
I got another theory though I want to share too.
Yeah, sure. Come on, man. This is the sharing circle.
I was trying to put some stats together on this. I didn't have the time to do so I'm just gonna be blunt about this, right? So we've had 10 black starting quarterbacks on week 1 of the season, right? Mm-hmm. And since then, we've had Tyrod get his lung punctured. We've had Cam test positive for COVID. We've had Dwayne Haskins get benched. And now we've had Dak Prescott with this gruesome ankle injury. Mm-hmm. So that's
for all intents,
right. So
for all intents and purposes, I'm sorry, they seem to be trying to send Haskins out from the football team. Is the new thing today they talking about?
Yeah, I heard that too. How you feel about that?
I don't like it, but as much like you said, new regime coming in, and that's not the guy they picked. That's not the guy they picked up. And when you said it to me, it made a lot of sense. My thing is that I wanted, he's from the city, not necessarily from the city, but he's from the area. You know what I'm saying? I would have loved to see him play for the Washington football team and actually become a decent, mid-15 tier quarterback. And 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 the Redskins just be a little at least be competitive in that division. That would have made me happy for a kid from the area, playing for the football team he grew up watching. That that's storybook shit. I would have loved to see that happen. But Ron Rivera never liked him, is what I'm hearing. Like, not even talking about his football, but him. Right. He don't like him. Like, that's some of the rumors that's being spread around. I don't like it. But if they end up dealing him, hopefully he goes somewhere where he could get some better support.
Get a chance. Yeah, well, he can get an opportunity, man. For real. Like paging the Falcons. Like,
yeah.
I'm just an example.
I just don't like that. Yeah, I just don't like the idea. Like, he hasn't played a full season yet. Let's be very clear. He hasn't played a full NFL season yet, and they trying to kick him out the door. I don't like it at all.
Yeah,
and he's been bad. Let's be very clear. He's been very bad. Like 28th ranked, maybe. Like, like he's been that bad. Yeah. But nah, man.
I am of the opinion that you let that guy play the season out and let him get the kinks out. And whatever you want to do with him after that, it's totally up to the franchise.
Nah, I think this year and the next season he should be allowed to start for the Washington football team. Now, after those 2 years, and you don't, you don't get what you need, okay, then you start looking. But these next two, I think this season and the next season, Dwayne Haskins should be the starting quarterback for the Washington football team. Give him an opportunity to learn how to play football and with the pros. You drafted him. You drafted him number one. That's where you drafted him, number one. So treat him as such.
Yeah, I could see there's going to be some tension about this because Dan Snyder drafted Dwayne Haskins, and if you're looking at history, when they drafted RG3, when Shanahan was there, Shanahan didn't want him.
Didn't want him, yeah.
And the big boy up at top was like, "Nah, we getting RG3," and he was buddy with him. That was the story that. Yeah. RG3 was buddy with Dan Snyder, and Shanahan wasn't feeling it all that much.
Yeah.
And really sabotaged his career, to be honest with you. I kind of put some of that on Shanahan, for leaving him in the game in the playoffs that one year. Yeah. His rookie year. Yeah. He sabotaged his career after that. He wasn't the same. So if I'm to base it off of that, I could see some friction between Ron Rivera and Dan Snyder in regards to Dwayne Haskins. Like, Rivera's going to want to get rid of him, and Dan Snyder's going to be like, nah, like, I picked him. This is your guy. You do what you got to do with him. Make it work.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know Dan Snyder's relationship with Dwayne Haskins, but I do know that this would be too soon if they dealt him, and I don't agree with it. Speaking of people being dealt, the Jets are openly looking to trade Le'Veon Bell before the deadline. Any suitors in your mind?
I didn't even think about that. I just more so want to roast the Jets for this more than.
Oh, go do that then.
More, I really just want to hand the Jets, like, come on, like y'all niggas is pathetic, man. Like, you get one of the best backs in the league, and yeah, most of his best days are in Pittsburgh. I understand.
Well, all of his best days are in Pittsburgh.
I understand.
He doesn't have a good day in New York.
But when he got there, like, I'm sorry. I watched some of these Jet games, and this dude is not getting the touches. He's not even being implemented in an offense to where, like, the way they used to implement him in Pittsburgh, not just as a runner, but as a catcher of the football. They don't do that at all with the Jets with him. And I'm like, yo, if you want to get the best out this dude, you got to adjust your offensive game plan Adam Gase. I'm talking to you.
Like why
Adam
is
Gase.
why is he not the focal point of that offense?
Right.
Period.
Like why are you running Frank Gore up the middle all the time? Like why is Frank Gore at age 37 being the focal point of this offense? Like I just don't understand what the logic is with this football team. And for real, Adam Gase is a joke, bro. That dude is a joke of a coach, man. This is how white privilege works, yo. And yes, I'm going there. White privilege.
Yeah, go there. No, I ain't mad at you. Go there, brother.
White privilege is when you could suck in Miami for all those years, and I get it wasn't that long, but it was about 3 or 4 years where he was terrible. Yeah. He was terrible in Miami. He let some guys go. He let Jarvis Landry go to Cleveland. He didn't like Jarvis Landry. He didn't like who was it? Cameron Wake, if I got that correctly. He didn't like him. He didn't like a few other of the more important players on the Dolphins during that stretch he was there. And you get let go out of that job, and this dummy over here, Woody Johnson, who's in the same division as this team. Let's be clear. He's in the same division
he knows how
as this
bad they
football
are.
team. So you should have known from the jump that this dude was going to be terrible and that this dude was going to jettison your best players out of town. Not only do you hire the dude, you then go through the draft, and then you fire the GM after the draft because Gase wanted him out. Like what kind of stuff
you say I'm
is
more
that?
mad about this. You say I'm more mad about this than you was mad about the Yankees.
Man, I'm mad about everything. This was I came into this show tonight knowing I was gonna rant about a lot of stuff tonight, bro, and I'm not even done yet. Like there's another game I want to rant about. So
All right, man.
Yeah, but look, man, the Jets are terrible. I mean, from the top
We know
down, they're terrible. The way they treat their players. You got one of the better backs in the league, at least coming into your situation. He
Going into it, right, yeah.
He was considered that, and
going in.
You not using this dude the way he needs to be used. That's on Adam Gase, bro. And that dude just doesn't care. He like, you watch these games, right? You watch these Jet games, and you watch this cat on the sideline, and this dude shows no emotion whatsoever. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to call this play, I'm going to call that play. Oh, it don't work. Okay, I'm just going to keep trying the same thing over and over again. I'm not going to make no adjustments. I'm just going to keep running Frank Gore up the middle. I'm going to get my quarterback killed in the pocket. I'm not going to put the right protections in to protect my guy. That team is a mess, bro. They're a mess. And I don't want to, jump over your question. I know you asked me where should Le'Veon be best fitted.
No. You should go ahead.
Because the Jets deserve this from me, bro. They deserve this.
Fire Woody Johnson, sell the team. By the way,
fire him. Like, come on, Roger. What's it gonna take, Roger? Get rid of him, man. Do the Donald Sterling to this guy. Where do I think Le'Veon Bell should go? Well, it's funny. I think when he was a free agent a couple years ago, I did mention the Eagles as an option. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I feel the same way now as I did a couple of off seasons ago. I think the Eagles could use Le'Veon Bell.
I don't know. I mean, I hear you. That Miles Sanders kid. Sanders kid is.
Yeah, he's good. I like Miles Sanders.
Even though everybody want to tell me about how he got off on the Steelers, and I'm like, bruh, he had one run. He had one run the entire game, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Right. Yeah, I didn't watch that game, but
he sprung a 74-yarder on us, but then everything. Okay. But he didn't have 8 more yards the entire game, so it's like, all right.
Okay, but yeah, I would like Miles Sanders with Le'Veon Bell a lot more.
Sure, I mean, it could never hurt.
And then if you're talking about pass catchers, because God knows the Eagles lack that with all the drop passes they got, they could use Le'Veon Bell in the passing game. That's the one team that comes to mind right now.
Okay.
Just off rip. You got any ideas? Pittsburgh. Go ahead,
several. Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
I know they have a guy over there that's a young guy that they think is going to be whoever they think he's going to be, the young guy. I forget his name that's starting over there.
Mustache man, Minshew.
Yeah, he could definitely use a solid. I mean, and like I said, the guy that's playing running back in Jacksonville hasn't been bad. But they could definitely
about the running back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about the running back, the guy who who's starting. I forget his last name, Johnson. I don't. But he's been decent. They could use him. Look, David Montgomery. I don't know. David Montgomery in Chicago has been a little underwhelming, man.
They just lost Tariq Cohen for the season to an injury, right? So they are thin.
But
they are thin at that position.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm talking about I'm talking about premier back, and Tariq Cohen is, he's Tyreek Hill at running back. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't want to seem like I'm shading Tyreek Hill, but Dave Montgomery's been a little underwhelming as a running back. They're their number one guy. I can see them bringing in Le'Veon Bell like right now, and that making a major difference in their offense. With them splitting carries, especially considering that the Bears have playoff aspirations. So the Chicago Bears,
I'm giving them a side eye still.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just that they have aspirations. I don't think they're making it easy, but they have aspirations.
Yeah, they're 4-1. I'm still giving them a I'm still giving them a look. But if they made that move, then I'd be like, okay,
this might be a little interesting.
Yeah,
that would be a little interesting. But yeah, just off the top of my head, Jacksonville, but certainly Chicago could use them right now.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Yeah, those are some good options right there. Bears, Eagles, I kind of like those options there. Does he get dealt? Does he eventually get traded?
I think he gets dealt. I think he gets dealt.
I do too. It's been brewing for a while. Really. It's been brewing since he got there. Yeah. Oh,
fact.
Man, that's that is the if you're talking about who's the next coach to go, Adam Gase, bro. That's the next coach that's got to go, man.
I don't disagree.
That's the next coach.
I don't disagree.
Want to get your opinion on this. It just came to mind since we were talking about the Jets. And I want to lump in the Giants in this as well. Again, we're kind of going back to the New York topic thing here. I'm
man, having a bad week.
Word. Bad week for New Yorkers right now. So I was just thinking, right? If these are the two worst teams in football, right? And Trevor Lawrence is expected to come out of the draft this coming offseason.
Do you think that the Giants will end up being the worst team? One of the worst. So you think Jets and Giants will be 1 and 2 in the draft?
Boy, it's close. The Jets for certain will be top 2. The Jets for certain.
Yeah.
The Giants. They got a chance, but it wouldn't surprise me if they end up winning like 5 or 6 games. Somewhere down the line, it wouldn't surprise me. But right now, I don't see that because you got a quarterback that's thrown 2 touchdown passes in 5 games. Like that's not gonna win you ball games. Especially when you don't got Saquon.
Yeah, okay. If your argument is Saquon, then okay, I can't disagree with your argument being Saquon. But I think Daniel Jones will be. That 15 to 20 tier, maybe at best 14. At best, if he, made a 180.
Right.
But that I think that number will improve. Is all my point. I don't see them being the worst team in the league or second worst team in the league.
Okay.
By season's end. But continue with your theory.
So if you are the Jets and you got the top pick and you know Trevor Lawrence is coming out, do you pull the trigger if you're the Jets on Trevor Lawrence?
No.
Really?
Sam Darnold. No. If I'm the Jets, if I'm the person in charge of the Jets, I drafted Sam Darnold number 1 and didn't give him no help the entire time he was there. I wouldn't pull the trigger. I would see how I can get me a playmaker.
Really? Wow.
I would see if I can get me a playmaker.
Wow. Okay. I mean, it's not a bad response. I guess what I'm looking at for me is the health of Sam Darnold, and I don't want to pick on Sam Darnold because the problems with this team extend beyond Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
But so far throughout his career, he's shown you that he can't stay healthy for 16 games so far. Now,
yeah, but
on a team, do you want to put that on offensive line? Do you want to put that on
lack of playmakers?
Lack of playmakers. Maybe the mono thing that he got last year. You can't put that on the team. That was more self-inflicted.
But mono ain't an injury per se. Mono's like,
it's not an injury, but he missed some games because of it.
Okay, but how often you think he's gonna get mono? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, he's not gonna get mono. That's not my point. My point is that he's missing games regardless of what the reasons are. He's missed a lot of time his first 3 years in the league. So,
sure, I don't disagree with that, but I don't think. But if you're, and I get he's had other injuries. If you're basing it on the mono thing, though,
not just the mono thing. I'm not
sure
picking that part. I'm just saying overall.
He missed 6-7 games from the mono thing, if I'm not mistaken.
And then he missed some games his rookie year to an injury.
Yeah. All right,
this year, he's missed games because of the shoulder. And I give him credit because he went back in that game against Denver, but they decided, let's just sit him out and make sure he's going to be all good moving forward.
I'm waiting. I'm not pulling the trigger. And I'm not pulling the trigger on. I'm just going to try to see. I'm going to give it 2 years. I'm giving him 2 more years if I'm the Jets. If Maestro's in charge of the Jets, I'm giving him some time to get healthy, stay healthy, and I'm giving him some time. If I'm Maestro Styles and if I'm Maestro Styles and Maestro Styles own the Jets, I'm never Woody Johnson.
But you know what I mean when I say that.
Sure, I'm just making it hard stand that I'm not
Johnson.
I get that. I don't want me and Woody Johnson's name to be in the same comparison. So I'll say if I'm the owner of the Jets, I'm gonna let Darnold. I'm gonna let him rock for another year at least. I would focus on putting some playmakers around him. I don't have to pay him top dollars because I get he's in his. This is his 4th, if I'm not mistaken.
It'll be his 4th year.
Right, it'll be his 4th year, so he might think he might be due for a raise, but I don't have to pay him, top billing money.
Right.
So I could pay him to be a starter. I could pay him high second string money to be a starter, and if he's not good, after 2 more years,
mm-hmm.
I don't think the dead weight would be too crazy. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
but if I'm Maestro Styles, if I'm the owner of the Jets, I realize that I have that Sam Darnold's development or lack of has something to do, or has a lot to do with me, or what I put around him.
Right. Yeah. So
in his case specifically, Adam Gase is not a good coach.
So right, and that's kind of where I'm going with this, because my expectation is that he's not going to be the coach after the season. That's my expectation. So Now you're talking about a brand new coach coming in here, and kind of like how we talked about with, the Washington football team situation, they benched a guy that's not their guy. So what if the Jets hire someone and they come to the situation and they say, okay, Darnold's not my dude. Like,
Well, then I gotta respect
I
that
want my
though.
dude.
I gotta respect that though, because as the
Right.
owner, I gotta delegate my work. I gotta let my GM be a GM. But if it were up to me, I'm gonna say, all right, let me see if I could put something around this kid first. And if I can't put, I feel like I should be able to put some veterans, cheap veterans, if I'm good at my job. And I get it's not my job, it's the GM's job. But if I'm good at my job, I should be able to put enough talent around Sam Darnold in a year to go 8-8. If I'm good at my job, to get them at 7-9, to get them to 7-9.
That's
If
being
he's
nice.
if he's a good quarterback, if he's what we believe him to be, we should be able to put. And I'm not talking about putting top tier talent. I'm just talking about putting a good pass rusher, a good corner, a decent corner, somebody who's just not abysmal at running the ball, and somebody who can catch. A security blanket. If I could put those four things around with a decent offensive line, no big name offensive line, just a decent line. I got to scramble every now and then, but I got to run for my life every now and then. But if I need them to hold it, they could hold they could hold the rush. I should be able to get seven wins if I got who I think I got in the first round. I would focus on trying to put that together. If I can get this team to 7-9, then we keep them. If we can't get this team to 7-9 with them, then all right, then we know we need to move on.
Yeah.
And there's other quarterbacks. It's not like Trevor Lawrence is the end all be all. It's not like we draft Trevor Lawrence number one and suddenly we're going.
You're right. You're absolutely right about that. He's not the end all be all. I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of hype about this kid, and I haven't watched Trevor Lawrence.
Much like we did Sam Darnold. Much like we did Sam Darnold when he was in USC.
Did we hear that much hype about Sam Darnold out of USC?
Certainly did.
Okay.
Well, let me say this. I certainly did.
Oh, okay. I didn't, but okay. But to your point, I do think that it's not a guarantee that if Trevor Lawrence comes in the league that he's going to be what everybody believed he was going to be. I'm just looking at it from the Jets standpoint and what could possibly happen after this year. It's very possible that Adam Gase is no longer the coach. It's very possible that they could get rid of the GM after 1 year. I mean, I'm just, this is the Jets we're talking about.
Right, but then there's also that possibility that they don't hire a GM before the draft. If they draft Trevor Lawrence and the GM say, well, we didn't want Trevor Lawrence, ain't we kind of in the same boat?
Ooh. Has that ever happened before? Has a team hired a GM after the draft?
It has happened, and I swear,
okay.
I know for a fact that it is, and I hate when I know it. I know it's happened. I do know it happened recently. I just can't tell you who it is right now, but it's happened recently. Like within the past 4 years, it's happened. I just can't tell you exactly what team it was, but it's definitely happened recently.
Okay. I mean,
oh man, that's gonna bug me. That's gonna bug me later. That's gonna bug me later. Who that team was?
Oh, it was in the NFL?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna bug me all night.
I'm not sure if I'm an owner that's the way I would approach it.
Sure, of course, it was stupid.
Yeah. Okay, so we agree there. Like that's not the way to go about it.
Yeah.
But again, this is the Jets we're talking about, so anything's possible. So I'll lump the Giants in with this too because there is a possibility they may be, two of the worst teams at the end of the season, possibly three of the worst. There's also that possibility that they might fire David Gettleman. I've been hearing conversations about that.
That would
with
make
Giants
sense.
fans and stuff. Yeah,
That would make sense.
I've been hearing stuff like that. Now, I don't think they're gonna get rid of Joe Judge after one season. I think they're gonna hold on to him. I think that's more of a possibility than him being fired. So again, it's the same question. If you're the Giants, you got
It's still
a
no.
top 3 pick, and
It's still
Trevor
no.
Lawrence is right there. It's
still
no
no
for you. Okay.
Still no for me. It's still no for me. Daniel Jones has shown us, some type of promise.
Okay.
He's shown us some type of a promise. They was all yelling Danny Dimes when he came back against Tampa last year. I get it was just Tampa, but we was hearing all type of Danny Dimes all of a sudden. So I mean,
he ain't been that this year so far.
Yeah, but but let's be clear, it's only been 4 games, and for all intents and purposes, or 5 games for the Giants, and for all intents and purposes, Saquon's out. I don't know if it was Chibbs who was saying that he thinks the Giants is going to surprise people this year.
It was him.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't get it when he said it.
Right.
Like what? What are you talking about?
I didn't get it. I didn't get it either.
But I guess in hindsight, it's a little easy to see now because Saquon is out. So,
yeah,
I
mean, the Giants don't look like a good football team right now. They might be 2 of the worst, 3 of the worst, if that. I'll say this just to kind of conclude, to put a button on this topic. I do think if you're one of those 2 teams and you are the 2nd or the 3rd worst when it's all said and done, and you go into the draft with a top 3 pick, and if those regimes change, especially if they change, I think if you're one of those guys, you have to at least consider it. I'm not saying
sure. I mean, you got to consider it even if you don't change anything. Right. I mean, if they didn't change anything, you would have to consider it. But in those 2 teams' cases, I don't see that those are good options to go take Trevor Lawrence number 1 just because he's the number 1 quarterback. When you got guys who have proven that they are or they ain't. Like I guess you got a better sample size on Sam Darnold, but you really don't. You really don't have a good gauge on Sam Darnold, and you don't have a good gauge on Daniel Jones. And both of these guys was drafted in the 1st round. I would go draft. I would go focus on how I can draft.
Right, and you're not right, and that's the other part to this is that when you get teams like the Ravens, the Steelers, the Seahawks, the Packers, when you look at teams like that have a history of bringing in quarterbacks and being successful right off the rip because they're drafting well, they got guys, they're paying for players on the defense, they're playing for skill position players. At a much higher cost than they are paying the quarterback because that quarterback's on a rookie deal.
Hell, look at what Cleveland has done, and Cleveland's been bad for years. But you've seen it through 4 years gradually. They have been building their roster gradually for 4 years, and to the point where this team, the Browns, right now is so stacked. We are just waiting for the quarterback to come around.
Right.
Who's probably the youngest guy on the team? Like that's the quarter. We're waiting for the quarterback to come around.
Right.
If the quarterback comes around, they think they have a Super Bowl caliber team. That's what they think.
Yeah, and I guess the thing to note about the last 4 years in Cleveland is that they've changed coaches 3 times. So there's still some, there's still
sure, but I'm only speaking to the players they're bringing in. They're bringing in quality players, and they've bought in quality players, whether through the draft or through free agency or trading, whatever. They've bought in quality players. They have a quality roster that's deep on offense and defense right now, and they're just waiting for the quarterback and a coach to put it together.
Yeah. So
and not for nothing, they're 4-1 right now, and I get they haven't played nobody.
Right. The Browns.
Browns, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, they played the Cowboys.
I was gonna say they played the Cowboys. But y'all got them coming up this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wish I could watch that game.
Oh, I don't miss those games now.
But kind of, well, I know you got the app or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but kind of, I guess to kind of get back to the Jets, they're gonna have to be more patient with their players and their timing, because the Jets have had a couple good players drafted every now and then all of a sudden you see them getting traded. I mean, i.e. Jamal Adams.
That's Jamal Adams doing. Jamal Adams didn't want to be there.
Sure.
And I can't even say Jamal Adams doing. That's Adam Gase doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's part of the organization's fault because he don't want to be there. Well, y'all ain't been doing much to make him want to stay there. So in the end, it's on the Jets, and they got to do a better job of drafting. They got to do a better job of being patient, stay the course, and stop cutting the cord on general managers, coaches. Just stop cutting them so quick. Just let the process play out for 3-4 years, and if you think it's not going to go anywhere, then move on to the next regime. They have a tough time doing that. They really do. So I watched that Seahawk game the other night against the Vikings, right? So in your opinion, everybody's talking about the play call to go for it on fourth. The Vikings, that is, in the red zone. They don't get the fourth down conversion. The Seahawks, they go marching right down the field. They score a touchdown. They take the lead. Are you kicking the 3 points there, or are you okay with Mike Zimmer's call there?
I ain't got a problem with it. Play the big dogs. You play the big dogs. You gotta do big dog things sometimes.
When you have to, yes. When you most certainly
sometimes when you don't have
absolutely.
to. Sometimes when you don't have to. Sends a message. Sends a message we ain't scared. Sends a message that you know, I don't got a problem with it. I mean, I'll be 100% clairvoyant that I don't understand. I don't have the entire context to it, but I can't. Okay, well, let me say this. Give me the context. Give me the context if you can.
So the Vikings are up by 5 points, and they are in the red zone. It's after the 2-minute warning. It was like a minute in, maybe minute 30 left, maybe minute 20, something like that.
Okay.
They are in the red zone. I think they're at like the 6 or the 5.
Okay.
And it's 4th and 1. It's 4th and 1, and it's like, okay. I mean, I think everybody's, good at math. At least to my maybe I'm tripping, but 5 plus 3 is 8. So that means you kick a chip shot field goal, you go up by 8 points, and the worst case, you go into overtime in that game.
Right.
Worst case, because not only do the Seahawks have to score a touchdown, they got to go for 2.
Get it good, right? Mm-hmm.
So that's where my mindset is at.
Yeah, and again, I get it, and you're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But if they put the nail in the coffin and score 6, not only are the Seahawks out the game. Let's be clear. Not only are they out the game,
yes,
but
the game is over. Yes,
not even if they score. If they just get the first down,
that's what I'm saying. The game will be over.
Yeah. So I'm not necessarily mad at it. I'm not mad at trying to put the nail in the coffin. I'm not. Because then, like you said, if you're in the red zone, then that means even if you miss, you don't convert, they got to drive the length of the field, and clearly that's what they did.
Right.
You talking about Russell Wilson, you talking about DK Metcalf. I get it.
But the moment they made that decision and they didn't convert that 4th down, I said to myself, Russ is gonna cook. He's gonna win this football game. Like I had no I'm not doubt mad at it in my mind.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
And just to add more context to the situation, Maestro, Dalvin Cook got hurt earlier in the game. So it's not like they had Dalvin Cook in the backfield to try to convert 4th and 1. They had the backup. It wasn't Madison. I think it was like the third string guy.
I was about to say Madison ain't no slouch neither.
Right. But I'm saying they had the third
They didn't have Madison.
running back in that situation trying to go for that yard. And it's like, if you had Dalvin back there, I'd be like, okay, go for it. But you got a third string running back there. It's 4th and 1. You're in the red zone. You're right there. Kick. You didn't have no kicking problems throughout that entire game. There was no kicking problems.
I'll say this. Maybe not the logical move, but I'm not mad at trying to put the nail in the coffin. I'm not. Had they pulled it off and beat the undefeated Seahawks off of a 4th and 1 play where they was either to kneel or scored on that 4th and 1 play, and then all of a sudden you're getting that, or is Minnesota for real conversation that we weren't having in the first 4 games of the season. You know what I'm saying? So I am mad at the move. Breaking news: the Jets have just released Le'Veon Bell.
Okay.
So there you go.
So no trade.
No trade, just cut, just released.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
I don't necessarily have a take. I just saw it and felt the need to say it.
Wow. Okay.
We can get him for the running back. We can get him for the minimum.
I was gonna say, Bears, go get him. Eagles, somebody go get him.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I would, if we can get him for cheap, and I know we don't necessarily have we probably don't have the space money wise to get him. I wouldn't be mad at him coming back to Pittsburgh at all.
Yeah. What y'all got, like $2 million in the cap right now?
Maybe we might got $5 in a chicken sandwich in our cap right now, player.
Hey, I tell you what, if y'all went to Le'Veon, that dude might accept it.
You might do it, yeah, man. Look,
he might accept it.
Hey,
after what he went through with the Jets, he might.
And he automatically, and that's the thing, he knows off rip. If you put Le'Veon back with James Conner, 2 slow running backs, but damn if they don't get the job done. They was getting the job done.
Yeah, offensive line too, though.
Yeah, well, offensive line ain't changed much. We ain't had much since Le'Veon been gone. We ain't changed too much.
Not much. I mean, the run game coordinator left, right? Munchak is not there no more.
Munchak left, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then didn't DeCastro go down on Sunday? I thought
DeCastro's been out all year. He came back that one game and strained his abdominal or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been out pretty much all year.
He was in the Eagle game though, right? He was in the game, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He hurt himself in the Eagle game. But I'm saying that was like he had played limited against who's the team for the Eagles? No, actually no, he had it because we was on week. Yeah, so this was his first game back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll see where Le'Veon goes.
Right.
We'll see about that. Look, I just got one more thing, and I don't know how much you got. I just got.
I don't got nothing. You know where I'm at with it.
Yeah, word. I'm about to get to watching this game real quick. So you know I play FanDuel, right? And I was in about 5 contests for the Sunday games, right? I had 2 1:00 games, and I had 3 4:00 matches that I was in. Just basically like you pick 5 players and you just deal with the salary cap however you may. You choose your players based off of that, right? So apparently, as I'm trying to check my score throughout these games, the scoring system in FanDuel wasn't updating. Everything was at 0. And for about maybe 2 hours, I'm just trying to figure out, what's going on. So I'm on Twitter, and there was people complaining that their stats system, FanDuel stats system, wasn't updating. They were having like technical issues and things like that. But I thought the most frustrating thing about it was that they just gave everybody that one update early in the afternoon, and their system was defective from that point all the way up until really last night. So you're talking about over 24 hours that FanDuel had this malfunction, and you got people on Twitter worrying about the money they invested in these contests, and everybody's, requesting refunds, and FanDuel taking all the smoke because, their systems is not up. So I did learn one thing about that, right? So they do have this stats system that updates, the scores, the stats, and all that, and it kind of intertwines with their scoring system. And basically, that's why FanDuel wasn't updating their numbers, because of that. So FanDuel had to rely on another source. It wasn't just FanDuel's doing. It was who they were partnered with that had, that had the issues. And, oh, by the way, I did win $9 out of the, $10 that I invested into these contests. So
So you lost $1.
I lost $1, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So I wanted to point that out. Just want to say shout outs to everybody here in the chat room. Appreciate Thorny Switch, J. Ron. Also, H-Rap B came in here also. Earlier in the chat. I think I mentioned you, J. Ron. Appreciate everybody. Jonah Rosario, appreciate you as well. Just make sure y'all folks, if y'all want to keep up with this episode, we're on all kinds of platforms. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music, which is one of our new platforms. You can find us on YouTube. We got the YouTube channel. So if you guys have an account, just make sure y'all hit subscribe. We're going to be posting videos and all kinds of stuff on there. And speaking of videos, appreciate everybody who tuned in to our conversation about the LeBron Jordan debate.
Hey man, I didn't even know you did it, man.
Oh, for real?
I saw it later on, around 4:00 today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was working on that for most of the evening yesterday, trying to get it up before today. So yeah, we had about 50, 60, views on it up to this point. I don't know what it is currently, but to those that viewed the video, we appreciate your support and appreciate you guys tuning into us. We're trying to put as much content out there as we possibly can. Also, you guys can follow us on social media. We got the Facebook page where that particular video was posted. I'm gonna try to put it up on some of our other platforms. Also, we got the Instagram page at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. And speaking of Instagram, you can follow me at Trey Fraser. You can follow Maestro Styles at Maestro Styles on Instagram. As far as Twitter goes, you can follow me at Barbershop SPOR2. You can follow Maestro Styles on Twitter, also at Maestro Styles. And if you got any questions or comments in regards to the show, you can email us at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. Maestro, if you got nothing else, man.
That's it.
That's it. Y'all, have a great week. We're going to be back next week giving y'all that heat, y'all. Peace.